Hi folks, thanks very much for joining me for this week's river tutorial. What you see in the vise is quite a heavy bug. I don't have a name for it, I just call it the 0.6. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the hook we have in the vise is a Hanak H 480 barbless hook. It's at size 12 and it's the Jig Champion. It's a medium wire hook and it's in black nickel. Now the slotted bead I have on is from Troutline. It's a natural colour and the bead is 4.6 millimeters, so a bit of a beast, but I'm looking to get quite a bit of weight on this. 0.6 is the weight, so it's 0.6 of a gram when it's completed. So to add that extra little bit of weight, I'm going to be using some of the lead wire from Hends to do that. And I've got a bit already off, which I'll be using as we go on with the video. So first thing, I'm going to give the shank of the hook a little coat of super glue, like so, before I start to put on my thread. Now what I'm using is the Nano silk. As you can see, this is the bulk spool. It's from Semperfly and it's at 12.0. And I want to just work that super glue up the shank with the thread and just get a little bed of thread down before coming back up to approximately where the thorax would be. And I'm just going to come in with my scissors and remove my waste. Now, next then, as I said, I've got some of the lead wire out the packet here, and what I want to do is make sure my bead is seated right over the eye of the hook. So I've got that in place and I'm going to just insert the lead wire into the head of the bead there. A couple of turns to hold it into place. And then what I'm going to do, using a very old pair of scissors, is just trim the lead wire at an angle down towards the bend of the hook. Then I can put that to the side and finish getting some thread wraps onto the shank and covering up my lead wire. And if you like, you can use your thumb nail just to maneuver that into shape for you. Like so. Okay, next I'm going to add some Troutline tinsel. This is the medium pink. This is what I'm choosing to use. You might want to add a different coloured rib, but what I like about the metallic pink is it's quite subtle, which is I quite like for this pattern. It is quite a buggy pattern, but many of my flies for deep water work are, I'll just get my thread out of the way, are really designed to get a takeable fly down to the right depth. This, on the other hand, is a fly that I'm happy to fish on the point and content that it will take some fish as well. So I'm just building up my tag, bear with me. I'm not the quickest in the world. Now you can, if you like, add a little bit of UV resin to just protect this tag. I'm not going to worry too much. Just open turns to bring it up to meet my thread, where I can then catch it in, like so. A couple of turns just to keep that in place. Then I can remove that and save it for the next time. So I'll just bring that back around, a few wraps. Next I'm going to add my wire rib. I'm going to be using a silver rib, and this is the Venyards number 27. It's quite a small silver wire rib, and again I'm going to capture that in at the head of the bead on my side. So I'm just inserting it into the head of the bead and bringing the wire all the way down to where my tag finishes. Okay, so far so good. Next then, I'm going to add my dubbing, and now for the body I'm using some of the Mad Rabbit Dubbing Plus. This is from Troutline and the colour is Black Pepper. I've already got a little bit out the packet and I'm just going to dub that on. It dubs on fairly easy, so no need to use any sticky wax or any wax for that matter. Just get it on the thread. And push it up to the start of the fly. And then I can come over with my dub body and bring it all the way up, and I'm going to leave, you'll note, a good distance. So between the bead and where I've ended the body there, I've left a fairly good distance. Next then, I'm going to bring my wire rib in the opposite direction to the way the dubbing went on. Like so. Then when I've met my rib, a couple of turns in front of the wire rib, and then I can just twist that away. So at this point I'm going to invert my vise. Now the vise is inverted, it makes it much simpler for me to add my little tag, and what I'm going to be using is some of this vibrant green, and it's actually a still water material and it's called Pulse Fibre. This one's from Celtic Blob and it's in chartreuse. So I'm going to take just a little strand off. As you can see here, it comes in nice strands, and I think it's used quite a lot in the tailing for blobs and various other trigger points. So I want to capture that just in behind the bead for the first turn, and then I can bring the whole thing over. Just use my fingers to keep that level. Then while I've got it in this position, I can lift all the fibres up, and I'm going to make it about 2/8 of an inch, my tag, and then I can simply turn my vise the right way round again. Next then, I've taken some more of the Mad Rabbit out the packet and I've thinned it out into this small clip, as you can see here. So I've fanned it out quite well, and the next thing I'm going to do is split my thread to create a dubbing loop. Now the thread's been spinning away at the bottom there, and the old Semperfly stuff splits no bother at all. It's really easy to split. He says taking 10 minutes to split the thread. No, it is. It does come apart very simple, and it's very easy to work with. So I've got my little clip. I'm going to insert that in like so, and then I'm going to spin it up. So just below the fly, it's just off camera, I'm just spinning my bobbin to capture all them fibres in between the thread strands. Now that's a little thick for what I want, so I'm just going to tease out a few of the fibres. That's more like it, and with the first turn I'm going to sweep it all back like you would a hackle. So what I'm making essentially here is a hair hackle, and then once that's in place, a couple of turns. To finish the whole thing off, I'm going to use some Hens Spectra dubbing. This is number 45, and I've already got a little pinch out the packet, and it doesn't take very much of this at all. So simply dub it onto your thread, and there we go. So sweep all your hair wing back, a couple of turns, then to finish off, a little bit of UV resin onto the thread, and then you can use your whip finish tool to finish off. Now, as I said, it's a 0.6 of a gram, this fly, so it will get down in most currents. I do have heavier stuff for when I'm really stuck, but this will actually take fish for you, whereas some of the sacrificial flies I use certainly won't. And when you're finished, give it a nice scruff out, and what you have is a very effective heavy pattern that will maybe help you get some smaller patterns down to the depths you require. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. The reason I'm tying so many bugs lately is I'm getting myself a new bug box, and I've already started making patterns to fill it up, and this will certainly be going in that box. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please think about clicking the button, and I'll see you all next time.